Thank you. On cold morning of January 6, 2006, Dr. Ukpolo was announced as the Chancellor of SUNO. This park campus then was still underwater. We were at the Lake campus, which the Army Corps of Engineers were just putting together. And from then, from the announcement, we started off at Sophie B. Wright. He came to assume the chancellorship of this campus after serving for 4 years as the Vice President for Academic and Student Affairs. And before then, he had served several years in the California University system and also at Tennessee University system. He's still here by God's grace. We've gone a long way from where we were that cold, uncertain January 6, 2006. And it gives me great pleasure to invite him again to the podium this morning.
Good morning. Happy New Year. As far as I'm concerned, this year probably will be a year that is unlike any year that we've experienced since 10 years ago, because it appears as if we're getting to the end of our efforts. And you will see, as we present our case today, I'll make our presentation, you will see that this year we're going to be very milestone, several milestones for SUNO, to the point that our flag will be planted forever where we are, and there will be no question about any threat to our existence based on what we're going to put together this year. Before I get to that specifically, if you go to my first slide, you will see that I always start off with planning. And as I've always said, from the first day I stand before you up to today, there's nothing you will do in life without plan. If you refuse to plan, you are actually planning to fail. So we've been guarded since I've been here with our strategic plan. We've had 2 versions of it so far. And the second one that we had is coming to an end this year, 2016. And Ms. Shatikwa mostly has been leading us. If you please stand up, people that see you. You have been leading us in this endeavor. She's been supported by presently Dr. Brenda Jackson, who is also going to be supporting her in making sure that we go through the next phase of our planning activity starting this year for the 2016-2022, 2016-2022 plan. The one that's going to be expiring this year went from 2011 to 2016. And within that period, those of you that have been here with us, you can imagine the challenges that we overcame within that period of time. Some of the things that we had to do together, some of them we succeeded in, some of them we did not succeed, but we learned from areas that we didn't succeed in. And my charge to Ms. Wilson to this time is that we need to learn from what we did not do right the last time and fit that into the next planning phase that is coming up. And they informed me that the next retreat is going to be starting January 22nd, right, Dr. Jackson? Right. January 22nd. We invited the former president of Johnson C. Smith, who was with us last time. She's gratefully agreed to come and join us and lead us in this endeavor this time. We are scheduled to be at the hotel by the airport, the Hilton Airport, the hotel by Hilton Airport, so that we can go away and talk about our future together, come up with a plan and let it guide us again. But I'm really looking forward to this next phase of plans, because by the time 2022 comes around, we should be like there should be no question about where we are going and where we have achieved together. I just thank the Lord that we had, for this last, since 10 years ago, although we've come across so many other natural disasters, none has come close to what Katrina did to us. So we've not been devastated as Katrina did us. So in other words, we have been progressively moving forward in spite of the other challenges that we face, including some of the natural disasters. Now, if we move to the next slide, I'm going to be brief this morning because I just want to focus on some major things. Academics, I want to focus on academics, I want to focus on budget and facilities. To me, that's the bedrock of this university and some of the challenges that we face. In academics, you know, last year we were approved for our DSW program, but that doesn't end there. We got the approval by the state, by our Board of Supervisors, by the Board of Regents. The Board of Regents have given us the green light to get this program started fall of 2016. But before we get it started, we have to then go to SACS and let SACS know what the state of Louisiana has approved for us to do. So we've notified SACS that has been approved, and now we're going to submit a substitute change application. It's a huge substitute change application, of which we have not done before. Some other programs that if it is just a bachelor's degree program that's approved for SUNO, or an online degree program, is a substitute change application. Matter of writing a letter, explaining ourselves, and they approve it. But this right here is a major substitute change application because this one degree is moving us from level 3 to level 5 institution. So we have a lot of questions that we have to respond to. So we've got to provide send that application in by April of 2016, after which we can begin to implement the degree program. However, it will require visits by SACS after the program has started to come and look at our university again. Not an in-depth visit like a SACS review, but basically a focused visit to come and look at the program, the facilities, and look at our library, look at things that will support the program. So it is not all done yet. Of course, we're excited about the program being here, but once we get that done, then it opens the door for other doctorate programs that wants to come into SUNO, because we don't have to worry about going through this tedious process again. So any other program that we believe we want to elevate to the point of doctoral level, it will be a lot easier then. But at least this will open it up for us going forward. The next slide. I would like to give credit to Dr. Shuja and his team. Last year, we went through the second time since I've been here, NCATE accreditation exercise. And of course, Dr. Shuja tells me I cannot make it, I cannot announce it officially. So I'm not announcing it officially, Dr. Shuja. I'm saying unofficially. We've been approved, we've been informed that our College of Education will be accredited. The official notification will come in the summer, is that correct?
May.
May. That's close enough. We get official notification in May. At that time, we can then say we've been given our full-fledged accreditation with NCATE. So we appreciate that. And of course, the SACS 5th-year review, which is a major. Can you imagine? It's been 5 years that we received our SACS approval, our SACS accreditation, reaffirmation. Midterm, we're going to have to report a mid-year report to SACS. And it's due this year, and we are working hard to present, to send our final report March 2016. We've done, many of you have been part of the exercise already. Students, faculty, staff, we've been working together. And we've gotten to the point now where we're looking at the final draft to move forward with it. And we believe in 2 months, we should be ready with the final draft to send to them. Okay. And of course, AACSB, it looks as if it was yesterday that we received our first AACSB accreditation. As it turns around now, In about next year, we're looking at another one again. And Dr. Yule always coming to tell me, I need to hire this, I need to do this. I say, well, don't calm down for a minute. But look at it's around the corner again. And you know, one thing that has sustained us at the university is being able to hold up our academic excellence exercises. We've not failed on any exercise that we've engaged in with regards to accreditation. And we're not going to fail now. So we're going to do the best we can to address some of these accreditation issues that are coming along to ensure that we continue to attain the level of excellence that we deserve. And I believe if we continue to do that, along with the significant progress that we believe we're going to acquire this year, we're going to be way ahead of the game in terms of ensuring that students choose SUNO as their first choice. Now, I'm through with the academic piece. I know there are so many things that I can talk about academics, but I want to be brief this morning. Dr. Adiboye can be more specific. But let me focus on the budget. This is extremely important because it affects all of us, our pocketbook. Just Friday, the governor-elect sent a representative to the Board of Supervisors meeting on Friday to give us some snippets about the status of the budget situation in Louisiana. And on Friday evening, attending an event with him, he also personally told us that it is worse than what they had anticipated, but that he needed 6 months of honeymoon to allow him to do the nitty-gritty work to get the universities, the states on the right track, and pleaded with us to be patient with him to see what we can do together within the next 6 months. And this is to say to you that I really believe in his leadership in terms of his focus on higher education. I have not shared this story with anyone publicly before, but I'll share with you. Governor John Bell Edwards is a genuine, true friend of SUNO. I met him for the first time 2011 when the outgoing governor was attempting to merge SUNO and UNO. I went to the Capitol. Of course, I met our colleague, Austin Badon, and Austin said to me, and he's standing back there, said, that's someone you need to meet. I said, okay, who is that? So you need to meet the head of the Democratic Caucus. I said, sure, I'll meet anyone that will allow us to help us to defeat this challenge. He then took me up to the 3rd floor and asked John Bell to meet us there. And then left the two of us in the room together to talk for about 30 minutes. After the meeting, he committed to me that he's going to do everything he can to fight that initiative. He opened up the opportunity for me to talk to the Democratic Caucus several times, to make presentations to the Democratic Caucus several times, of which Austin was part of it. I'm sorry that you are not in the legislature anymore, but hopefully your being there, you've made a major contribution to SUNO. I appreciate that, Austin. And you deserve a round of applause for that. So we made the presentation to the Democratic Caucus. And from then on, it became easier. When the Governor General was the last time when he felt that he could not win the war, it was John Bell Edwards, Austin Badon, Wesley Bishop, Pat Smith, that they called upstairs to give the news to. I was sitting on the floor of the house with Gloria Moultrie when they went upstairs to meet the then speaker, bringing the Governor General's message that they are going to not pursue the initiative because they don't have the votes. So this is what happened. As such, this new governor that's coming in has come to our campus several times. He's spoken to our faculty conference at the Bayou Classic. He's assured me that SUNO is going nowhere in his administration. He's going to be behind us 100%. So I'm looking forward to working with him. I believe this next 6 months may be our toughest 6 months yet, after which it will be a lot easier, in my judgment. We're going to have a true friend in the governor's mansion and in the legislature. But you got to work with me to see what we can do the next 6 months, because our chief financial officer informs me that if we continue this way without making some adjustments, we may be looking at $1.3 million shortfall. And he had made the presentation to the faculty senate last year, and he's giving me some options that I need to consider, and I'll be looking at that. So I want to share some of that with you today. If you go to the next slide, just to give you a brief history as to what we have been experiencing. Our state funding, you can imagine, from 2011, see how it has dropped, okay, under the current administration. And yet, we have not taken any major drastic step as other institutions have done around the state, because we have been managing our budget as much as we could. We've been using our reserves as much as we could to try to hopefully get to the promised land where things will be a lot easier. I believe we have 6 more months to get to that point, but now we have to look at what we need to do together to get us to where we need to get to. So you go to the next slide, the same kind of story in terms of the general fund operating budget. Okay, you can go to the next slide. Now, in order to be able to sustain us for the next 6 months, if we can be able to achieve 2,700 student enrollment this spring, it should be able to help us out a lot. In other words, just hold the numbers. This is very conservative projection that we are making. This time last year, our enrollment was 2,500 students. So if we hit 2,500 students, we're just breaking even. If we can get to 2,700 students, which is not something that is still within our grasp, because we are looking at possibly attaining that. If we can attain that, then it will help us hold back some of the drastic measures that we may have to take. And that's not something that we want to do. As I said earlier, Mr. Rentrop has informed me that we are looking at a $1.3 million shortfall, but there's another avenue which we can use to be able to fend that off, which is our reimbursement from FEMA. FEMA has been slow in reimbursing the university. Our indirect costs, I've been informed we don't have the staff to pursue that vigorously. So Mr. Rentrop has suggested that we look at outsource that initiative to a firm that will go after them to ensure that we get our reimbursement. And in that case, we can use that to be able to help us to address some of the shortfalls. And that's what we're going to do. For now, we're not going to aggressively move towards hiring staff. We're going to only focus on hiring critical staff. I'm not looking at, if I look, the options that were given to me included laying off some staff members, reducing some other faculty areas. But at this point, I'm not too eager to look at that option. I think we can pursue aggressively through the firm that we're asking to help us pursue FEMA to see what we can do to get back some of the funds that they owe us. And this is what we're going to be working with the firm, and I've asked Mr. Rentrop to ensure that they inform me on the progress every other week to ensure that we get some monies coming to us directly, which we can use to help take care of them of this situation. And of course, we're going to try to reduce our overtime and our part-time employment. And one thing that we also need to focus on, because I received a call from Board of Regents on this issue with regards to student-faculty ratio, when they were talking about possibly additional funds going to universities. I was informed that, and I didn't know that then, that SUNO has the lowest student-faculty ratio in the state. So how can that be? So in other words, UNO and other institutions here have more students per class, per faculty than we do. So, we need to address that situation. And I asked Dr. Adeboye to look into that for us to see whether or not that's the case. And if that's the case, we need to see how we can go and be within the range of other universities within the state, because that is critical. The state might be looking at it as saying that they are investing more to SUNO than they are in other institutions when the faculty-student ratio is used as a gauge to make that judgment. And of course, we're going to try to consolidate programs if we can. These are some of the things that have to be on the table that we need to be looking at. As I said, 6 months, we need to do something within the 6 months, and after the 6 months is up, I really do believe that the new governor is going to find a pathway in addition to our effort to get to where we need to get to. Now, enrollment is a major critical item for us together. As you know, enrollment is our lifeline. As such, I've personally been involved in trying to reach out now beyond our 10 parish area, beyond our state. We are now targeting students from the Chicago area, from the Detroit area, from the Milwaukee area, because we have direct en-road to these cities. I just came in December from Chicago with our enrollment team, and we came back with over 140 applications. We visited about 6 high schools, and they're inviting us to come back this month. But I can't go back this month because we're dealing with registration, so we may be going back first week of February. We also have an alum who happens to be a superintendent in Detroit. She is very much interested in getting us to get access to Detroit public school systems. She suggested that there are 12 superintendents like herself who are African Americans within the Detroit area that she wants us to meet. So we're going to be targeting Detroit as a city of which we're going to try to get some students here. I was told that years ago, Detroit used to be one of our cities that we used to go to get some tennis players. So we need to begin to do that. And of course, our new admissions director also has a personal enroad to the Milwaukee area. So that region, we're going to try to ensure that we penetrate those regions and bring out-of-state students. Since we have housing, and the housing is not completely full, we might as well take advantage of that. And that is going to be one of our major initiatives this year, to try to see if we can increase the number of students that come from outside the state to Louisiana. And of course, the facilities, go to the next slide. I've asked Steve Lazavio, who's always been joining us here, to give us an update on the facilities. But before he comes forward, some of the things that we've done already, I don't want to read all those things, but these are some of the things that we've done already. You know it, you've been walking around the campus. The social work building is already up and going. We have the signs in the College of Business already. We have the marquee sign because one of the reasons why I insisted on having a marquee sign on the Lake campus was one time there was an incident in the housing area, and the police could not find the housing facilities. They kept going around and around. They said, well, they didn't even know whether that was part of UNO. I said, no, that is SUNO. I was asking them why they were, what took them a little bit late to get there, because it was someone that actually drove around and stole a car from the east and ended up on our campus. So I felt at that time we needed to have a marquee sign that people can know that that College of Business, IT, and the housing is SUNO property. It's SUNO's, not anyone else. So we have that going. We are also going to be working on putting together a security fence around the housing to provide some sense of security to people that are living in the housing area. So those are some of the things that we are going to be addressing this year. And this year alone, as I told the Board of Supervisors, in 2016, as you will hear from Steve in a minute, if you can come up, Steve, you will see that we've already have one groundbreaking already, social work building. We're going to be having 4 groundbreaking this year. Education, arts and humanities and social science, Dr. Amadi, natural science, and I'm missing one. Did I say education? What did I say?
Yes. It's not on the screen.
Okay, central plant, our central plant. So once that is out of the way, it's just a matter of building it. And you will hear in a minute where we expect the completion of those. And to me, once the facilities come in, the academic programs are here, it will be a lot easier for me when I get to Detroit to sell SUNO, when I get to Chicago to sell SUNO, when I get to West Bank of New Orleans, easier to sell SUNO to students that want to come here. So I think this is going to be one of our brightest year ever in the history of the university.
Doc, it's social sciences and arts and humanities. Yes.
Okay. I know there's something I did wrong. Thank you. Thank you.